Hey guys, it's Laura, Laura's Vegan Table, Laura Nature Girl. Today I am making vegan calamari made with mushrooms, and these mushrooms are the best to do this because of the stem, and they're called king oyster mushrooms. I love them, they're really flavorful, and what you use is the base of the mushroom to make the calamari, and then I cut it out with a little cutter and dip it in some breading, and then I bake it instead of frying it, which I like because I think it tastes crispy, and I don't know, frying is just very heavy. I try to avoid it whenever I can. So I found that this method really works, and it's really easy and fun to eat. So I grabbed a couple. If you can't find these at the store, I don't know, you could probably substitute another mushroom, but these really are the best for this recipe. So what I'm going to do is I've already cleaned these mushrooms, and I'm just going to cut them approximately, I don't know, about 3/4 of an inch thick. And I'll probably get, I don't know how many I'll get out of this. I'll probably get about 16 out of these mushrooms. So I'm just going to use the base and just cut them before I make the cutouts. And you can just use the mushroom caps for another recipe. You know, for this recipe, you're only going to need the bottoms. But see, look how that is already. So I'm just going to finish cutting these. And I was really surprised at how well they turned out, and that the baking really, it's just as good as frying and not as much oil. So that's always a good thing. Okay, so I have my pieces like this. That looks like a scallop. That's another recipe. And then what I have here is they're actually little pastry tops that fit into a pastry bag, and there's all different sizes. I have a bunch of different sizes, but really depending on how big of the mushroom pieces you have, you might need several, but I can get away with using this bigger one, but I am going to use the shorter top. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a little hole, because that's how the calamari is, right? And then look at that. See? How cool is that? And take out the little bottom. Again, you can use the little holes for another recipe, because these mushrooms still taste delicious, but you just want to use it for another recipe. So I'm just gonna kind of push it down into the mushroom. Sometimes they're harder to get out, and if it breaks the mushroom, that's okay. It'll still work. And this is a really fun appetizer. I made them the other day, and they're just really, really nice for a bigger group. And you can make them ahead of time, bread them, and just not put them in the oven until you're ready to serve. And really all you're going to do is put them in the oven at 400. I have it preheating right now. 400 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes on each side. You're going to just let them brown just a little bit. I know I'm having a hard time getting some of these out, but see, it's really fun. I like playing with food in this way. And I guess a lot of people would wonder, well, why would you want to make something vegan look like meat or fish? Well, I think the reason is a lot of times, people are afraid that they're going to have to give up foods that they really enjoy. And what I've found is there's so much more abundance with vegan food than even I thought. And you can still enjoy foods. It's a little bit different, but it's even better, I think. I really like it. So really, non-vegans will enjoy this too. So this is a fun appetizer that you can make any time of year. It's nice around the holidays too, Christmas time. We have a big group coming over. So some of them might not work as well. Again, you can use the leftover for another recipe. I'm going to just switch out. If you happen to have a few of these pastry tips in different sizes, it's really helpful. So you can use either, if it's a big one, the top or the bottom. And again, they're all different sizes. So whatever works for the size that you have. And Yeah, see, some of mine split apart a little bit, but that's okay because we're going to put it in the flour, and it's going to bake anyway, so it'll have the coating on it. It won't matter. So, okay. We're just about done. Yeah, these are, how cool is that? I don't know, I just get really excited about stuff like this and serving them and having people say, what? How is that not fish? That is really funny. So, okay. All right, yeah, so you're going to have like these little kind of cork size little leftover pieces of mushroom. That's okay. Again, use it for something else, for another recipe. Sometimes I just put the leftovers in a pan and fry them up for pasta or something. Okay. All right. So, and they don't have to be perfect. Some of them are not. And sometimes you'll get some of the different pieces of mushroom. It does have kind of a fish look to it. It's really crazy. All right. So next is I'm going to take each piece. So I have flour. You can use cornstarch. That'll make it gluten-free. You can use cornstarch or rice flour instead. Plant milk, I use Oatly. That's my go-to. And some breadcrumbs. I happen to have seasoned breadcrumbs, which I'd recommend. If it's not seasoned, you might want to add a little salt to it. And I have Edward and Sons. I love their breadcrumbs. They're very good. And they make a lot of gluten-free stuff too. So, okay, so I'm really just dusting it in the flour first. So gets a little bit of flour coating. Then we're going to put it in the plant milk, just kind of toss it in there. And that's going to kind of act like your egg, like the binder. And then the breadcrumbs, just kind of coat it in the breadcrumbs. And look at that, how cool. I love it. So there it is. And I just put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. And we'll just finish up with the rest of the mushrooms. Again, really easy and fun. And that's what I like about vegan cooking. It just pushes boundaries and lets me experiment with different foods, kind of be creative. And hey, it's more sustainable and less expensive than traditional seafood. So that's always a good thing. It's win-win. Okay. See, look at that. Very cool. Get a little more dusting on it. Make sure everything is coated. Yeah, again, easily gluten-free with, because the breadcrumbs can be gluten-free as well. These are not, but you can get gluten-free breadcrumbs and gluten-free flour, different kinds of flour. There's a lot of different kinds of gluten-free flours, and the plant milk is also gluten-free. So I just like the consistency of Oatly. They have a really nice, they have really great products. Except a lot of times they're sold out, so, because it's so good. And again, this is also a nut-free and soy-free recipe, so if you have allergies to that, no worries. And people might be allergic to shellfish, so this is another win-win. If you're allergic to shellfish, but you miss that, well, here you go. And when you put them in the oven, they get, I just put drizzle a little olive oil on them. They get nice and crispy, and it has a nice crunch, and then the mushrooms bake, and they have a softer texture when they've baked, and it's just such a great appetizer, and it just feels luxurious. I don't know, I love it. So here we go. We have our mushrooms all coated. And so what I'm going to do now is just drizzle them with a little olive oil. Okay. And we're going to put them in a 400-degree oven for roughly 10 minutes, then we're going to flip them over on the other side. I'm just going to drizzle it with a little bit of olive oil because this is where it's going to get really crispy in the oven. And it's still better than deep frying it. 400-degree oven for about 10-15 minutes each side. Take a look at them, see if they're starting to get golden brown, and that's when you're done. Hey, I'm back, and I have my calamari just out of the oven, and look how cool that looks. I love it. It really looks like, it's not squid, looks like squid, but it's mushrooms. It's got that nice crispy outside and soft inside. And what I'm gonna do, I've already sprinkled some chopped fresh basil on it. You could also use parsley. And I'm just gonna squeeze some lemon on it. It's so good. Really, when you taste the lemon, I think it's just the combination of flavors that kind of remind you of calamari and seafood, but it's not. And I just like to use a lot of lemon. That really brings out the flavor, the citrus, and the lemon is very bright. So I'm gonna take one, and I have some marinara sauce. Here again, you could use cocktail sauce. A winner. So good. Great appetizer. Crunchy on the outside, kind of chewy, like calamari would be on the inside because of the mushroom. And really easy to make, really fun to make and eat. So I think you guys will really like this. I'm going to post the recipe in the comments. And if you have any other questions, let me know. I hope you guys like this video and try this recipe out. Again, you can make it gluten-free with gluten-free flour and breadcrumbs. And it's really delicious. I think all your guests will love it. Or you could just eat it all yourself. So thanks again for watching this video. Bye-bye now. Till next time.